Welcome to Engagement Fundraising, where you'll learn how busy fundraisers like you are generating more major and planned gifts at lower costs. Brought to you by iMarketSmart.com, the software and services company that helps nonprofits raise more money more efficiently.
These 63 job titles seem to be doing the latter and not the former. In other words, they seem really well designed by HR professionals and recruiters for career advancement. That's not really nice to donors, is it? I think that nonprofits should start by creating titles that are welcoming to the audience that they aim to endear themselves with.
Hi there, I'm Tim Chadden, Marketing Solutionist at MarketSmart. On today's episode, I sit down with Greg Warner to discuss job titles for fundraisers and how the wrong job title can negatively affect the donor's perception. Not sure what engagement fundraising is or how job titles affect your success as a fundraiser? Well, you will soon. So job titles.
Job titles. We don't even have titles here at MarketSmart, do we?
We make up our own titles.
Right? Did I ever tell you why you're allowed to make up your own title?
Probably did.
Maybe when you interviewed, you probably said, so what's my job title? And I said, I don't really care. Your job title is what you have to live up to when you go to get another job. That's my philosophy.
Okay. It's something you use in an email signature when people correspond with us, that kind of thing, yeah.
And what do you put in there?
It's one of two things. I'll either be...
Oh, you change it?
Yeah, I change it. I got to.
Okay. You could.
It's either podcast producer or marketing solutionist.
Okay, cool. You can be whatever you want.
Which I would have to make sense for fundraisers. You might have different roles you're doing as a fundraiser, and you might have different titles.
Yeah, I think with fundraisers, there's a thing about trust, and consistency builds trust.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always good to sort of pick one and stick with it. Let me back up and explain so people are wondering, like, hold on, what the hell is he talking about? MarketSmart, they don't give titles, and then why does he not care? And maybe I should just let me hit that so people understand.
Some foundational stuff here.
Yeah, and look, if our listeners go to the careers page, you'll kind of get more on our shtick. And I know we're less formal. We're kind of a tech company and marketing company. But I do think things need to change in the nonprofit world, which we'll get to in a minute. The thing is that we run a holacracy here, which is what Zappos runs, which is really there are no hierarchies. I am not a dictator. It's not a top-down, although the philosophy and the vision and the leadership is top-down. But when it comes to what people do day to day, we let people do what they're best at doing and what they love doing. That way, while you don't want to make coffee for me, and this is going to sound really chauvinistic, it's going to sound terribly chauvinistic, but Sherry loves to make coffee for me and others, right? Because
some people love making coffee.
She likes making
it's a passion of some people.
And we have a great coffee barista kind of setup.
Yep.
So, and she likes doing it. So people have different roles.
Yeah.
I don't know why one person, I forget who it was, that cleaned out our refrigerator.
Tristan.
Yeah, I don't think she loved that.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so that's a role. But we look come back to the farm.
I mean, some people like scrubbing and cleaning and tidying.
Yeah, some people like gardening.
Yeah.
I don't like gardening.
Yeah, it seems weird to like that.
Yeah.
I like the flowers once they're planted, but
you like them when you're right.
After the work's
done. You're so selfish. Okay, so we operate with looking at roles and not with job titles. And people's roles can change, especially as they grow and learn, and then they grow into different jobs and all that kind of stuff. It's a little more complicated than that, but in general, we don't have job titles because they can change and they can be fluid. And generally, job titles have a habit of pigeonholing people that I only do this, I don't do that. They also have a way of presenting tremendous signals out to the outside world. You know, this is our company at MarketSmart. The outside world is going to judge you and how you can help them based on what your title is. So I like to call everybody here, I thought I made up this word. Someone told me I didn't. But you know me, I like to make up a lot of words and phrases. But I like to call everybody here a solutionist. Because whether we're working with each other or working with a team here or outside vendor or our clients, customers, we're always trying to solve problems for them to make everything work better.
Yeah. So that can change as your role changes. You're always solving problems.
Yep.
Regardless.
Now, once you leave here, I hope you don't.
Yeah.
I like you. But I'm going to leave here someday. It may be in a wooden box, but but when you leave, you can decide what job title you had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you have to live up to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I say to you, if someone calls me, a recruiter says they want a reference on you, and you said you were the executive senior vice president of this, that, the other thing, and they're trying to hire you and they're going to pay you $300,000. Well, you know what? If that's what you're going for,
sure,
and you can perform at that level, by all means, I will tell them, sure, that's your title. Whether you could do that or not, I'm not going to tell them that.
Sure, yeah.
Can you perform in those roles? Probably not. No offense.
Sure.
Maybe later. Maybe
later as I learn more stuff.
But what are we talking about here? Get us. We were going to talk about fundraiser titles, which I hate.
Yeah.
Hate's a strong word.
It is.
Let's say I dislike them. They can be a little stinky.
They can turn donors off, too.
I think they can.
Yeah.
So why do we know this? This isn't anecdotal. This isn't just our opinion, although we are donors, so I guess our opinion counts. But Dr. Russell James, my buddy, my pal, always good for some
neuro researcher
down in Texas. Texas. He doesn't talk like that, everybody.
No.
But he researched which job titles think. He researched 63 different fundraiser job titles. 63.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of job titles. Are there any common themes? What's the thread that weaves them all together?
Well, they mix a lot of words together, like institutional advancement. Did you feel a chill in the air when you heard that? Right? As a donor, I'm like, wow, institutional advancement. Does that make me feel warm and snuggly?
No, not exactly. No.
How about external relations?
That sounds horrible. That's a job title.
Do you think most of these
these are real job titles? Yeah.
Yeah, these are real job titles. You know, Director of Planned Giving and Estate Administration.
That sounds like a real title. Yeah.
Sounds like a real title, right?
Yeah.
Estate administration. That reminds me of death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're administering your estate because you're going to die.
Yeah. As soon as you give me that title, I see the Grim Reaper. Even major gift officer.
You're like an officer taking their money because it's your job.
It's like the police.
Yeah.
And it's major gifts. So you're going to arrest me and I'm going to give you a major gift.
This episode is brought to you by us here at MarketSmart. Learn about a free webinar about major gifts in this quick ad break. Recently, fundraising guru Jeff Streifels did a webinar for us on how to think strategically about soliciting major gifts so that they can make up a larger percentage of your organization's annual donations. You can access this webinar for free by visiting imarketsmart.com/howtothink. This presentation includes real-world examples, comprehensive research, and actionable ideas that you can implement to raise more money right now. Here's what you'll learn. You'll learn how to think strategically about generating more major gifts, the 7 pillars of a successful major gifts program, the steps required to build a predictable, repeatable system for success with major gifts, and much more. Go to imarketsmart.com/howtothink to access the webinar. That's imarketsmart.com/howtothink. With that, let's get back to job titles for fundraisers.
I wrote a blog post. It's one of our most trafficked blog posts.
Yeah, it kills every time we
share
it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the people working these jobs agree with how ridiculous some of their titles are.
I don't know if they agree, though, because we got a lot of compliments. I mean, not compliments. Yeah. We got a lot of comments. Tons of comments on the blog post when I wrote this back in, last summer, 2016.
Yeah.
Some people agree, but some people wrote me privately and on there saying that they don't like any of my titles, which we'll get into in a minute. They don't like what I have to say, and they like their titles. But then again, is it up to them? Shouldn't we create titles that the donors like?
That is your job to connect with the donors. So
yeah, but that doesn't help the fundraiser necessarily improve their career.
It would if
they get more donations and they're more successful, maybe.
Yeah, but how is the infrastructure of this machine, including all the recruiters and all the HR departments, to quantify and analyze and understand what you did?
Yeah.
If you're not a major gift officer, but something else, customer service.
Yeah.
I mean, donor service. Look, I understand the quandary. Let's put our empathy, because I have tremendous empathy for fundraisers and the whole machine that they are a part of and how we can get wrapped up in that. But I'm sorry, we're going to put that aside and I'm going to put on my donor hat.
Yeah.
And say that I'm not really down with giving and stroking a check and giving it to the director of external relations for major gifts and institutional advancement.
No. And could it be that you have a official job title and a job title you use for everything outside of your resume? I don't know.
Maybe.
That could be a thing.
It could be a thing.
I'm not sure how this all works.
Yeah. Well, how it all works, or talking about disruption here. Look, at Disney, they call everybody a cast member.
Yeah, I've heard that, yeah. Because you're
playing a role.
Yeah, you're playing a role.
It's a magical world.
Every person at the park sees you. You're a face of Disney. So you're
Yeah.
a cast member.
Even if you're cleaning up.
A janitor, yeah.
Yeah, you're the janitor. You're not the janitor.
No.
You're a cast member.
Mm-hmm.
To everybody, you're a cast member. You're playing a role in the magical world of Disney.
Yeah.
Look, we're acting like, well, we're the high-tech firm and it's 2017, so we can have hip titles. Well, how about that? Walt Disney was coming up with this, I guess.
1950s? When was...
I don't know if he's the one who came up with the cast member stuff, but somebody did a long time ago. If titles are off-putting to donors, then what are we to do? Because I think one of the comments on my blog post said, well, hold on. I don't want to ever hide from the fact that my job is to raise money. So saying that I'm the major gift officer kind of puts it right out there. And if they're going to engage with me, then we at least understand what we're doing together. And that's fair.
Yeah, expectations are set.
To that, I say, I just don't know if you need to accomplish that with the job title.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could still have a job title that's more inviting and still be able to say that to a potential donor or current.
Through your communication, you would convey that is what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in the old, when I learned selling, there's a Sandler selling system, which is, I got all those tapes up there. I don't even have a tape recorder. I don't know what to do with them, but they just sit there, 30 years old. In the Sandler selling system, Old man Sandler from Baltimore used to say that you have to have upfront contracts with everybody that you meet. Unless there's no financial transaction potential, then you don't really need a contract. But if you're engaging with somebody with a purpose, you need to have an upfront contract and say, look, I hope you realize my job is to help bring money into the university. Mr. Williams, I just want to be really clear about that before we go any further. I'm not going to ask you for money today.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure that you understand that that is my role. Is that okay? Can we continue? That's an upfront contract.
Yeah. You kind of do this in the dating world. Expectations that you're on a romantic date versus just meeting someone as a friend.
Well, you're looking at a guy who hasn't dated in a while, but...
But yeah, expectations are really important. So you don't have misunderstandings, right?
Yeah, and actually we do that when we're hiring people. It's a fair way to build a relationship is to just be upfront with people. And that's what you're doing when you're raising money anyway. You're building a relationship. So you may as well lay some cards on the table. No games here. This is what's going on. But now that we got that out of the way, so you know that, rest assured, I'm not going to put any pressure on you today. I may not even ever put any pressure on you. Unless you want me to put pressure on you, then I'll put some pressure on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unless it's a good fit.
If it's a good fit, then, and you say to me, Greg, you know what? I need a nudge. Okay, I'll give you a nudge. I know people that say that. They say, you know what? Please push me. I know I've been really busy. We're doing budgeting now, but I want you to nudge me in the spring. Okay, got it. You told me to do that. That's cool. But anyway, we're getting off the topic of the titles. I don't know. We went down that rabbit hole. Let's come back up and say, so Dr. James studied 63 of these job titles. It's amazing. God bless him for all the stuff that he does. So you ready for the 3 of the worst performing job titles?
Yeah, let's hear them.
First of all, I should tell you that none of them performed well.
So all 63 were bad. There was not a single one that was good.
Yeah, he researched the internet and he pulled 63 job titles. He tried to exhaust every job title used in the fundraising, nonprofit, institutional advancement sector.
Yeah.
He got 63, and none of them really performed well as being liked by donors. Here's the top worst.
Okay.
You ready?
Let's do it.
I don't know if our listeners are ready. Some of them are probably, going to...
You're going to throw their phone across the room.
Yeah. All right. Chief Advancement Officer.
Okay.
Director of Institutional Advancement.
Mm-hmm.
And Chief Institutional Advancement Officer.
Okay.
Those are pretty bad.
Those are pretty bad.
I think they're bad. I think if I had that title, I'd be peacocking around.
Yeah,
I think
it sounds dignified.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds cool. Is it effective for raising money? Not really at all. I mean, it's very off-putting, according to Dr. James' research, at least to the donors.
So how do you fix this? What is friendly and approachable to donors?
Okay, so first off, what are we trying to accomplish?
Building relationships with donors that result in them giving the organization money.
Are you sure we're not trying to qualify and quantify what somebody does for the purpose of getting another job in another organization?
I don't think so, no.
Well, these 63 job titles seem to be doing the latter and not the former. In other words, they seem really well designed by HR professionals and recruiters for career advancement. That's not really nice to donors, is it? I don't think we're going to solve this problem today, but it's just you and me in this room. So we could pretend. But I think that nonprofits should start by creating titles that are welcoming to the audience that they aim to endear themselves with whom for associated to whom. Does that make any sense?
It's a lot of words.
I'm sounding fancy here. Something, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Your job title is not for you. It's not for your organization. It's for the people you're connecting with.
Yeah. Let me give you the end of the story of what I said in a follow-up blog post was that I think that the end result is that fundraisers to me really need to be facilitators and matchmakers, but that doesn't sound like a very good title.
Yeah.
So I'm in a quandary here because I don't know what to tell people to change their titles to, but I will tell you that some people posted on the blog post that they changed their title because of this. So let's see what some other people wrote. We got donor advocate, donor service manager, chief donor love officer.
That's a weird one to me.
That's a little much.
Donor advocate I like a lot. That's a
Donor
good one.
advocate.
Yeah. Advocating when their money comes to you to put it to a good cause, and that seems good.
Donor outreach coordinator, donation facilitator, impact facilitator, donor engagement director. I like that.
That's good.
Yeah. Donor relationship director, donor relationship manager, director of philanthropy, vice president of philanthropy. Not bad.
Yeah. Is philanthropy, the title clearly means you're working with the major gifts at that point and planned gifts.
It does, but you know what? I don't think a lot of people think of themselves as philanthropists. It may be a bit of a stuffy term.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's a bit like using the term impact. Director of impact doesn't sound very good either.
Yeah, and I guess I finished up one of these blog posts. I can't remember where I came back. Just threw out there that I thought engagement facilitator was the most accurate, but I'm not in love with that one either.
Yeah, it's very technical as far as what you're doing.
Yeah. So guess what, Tim?
We did solve it.
This is kind of a wonky fail of a podcast. Maybe some of our listeners can email us at info@imarketsmart.com and tell us if they've ever heard any job title, because this is pretty negative. So I'm basically telling everybody that Dr. James found that the job titles stink. And we're complaining about all the job titles, but we don't have any real advice for anybody.
No. I liked one of those donor engagement, I think. Or what was it?
Donor engagement manager.
Something, yeah, I don't know. It's not a one right answer for this. And it's hard to find an answer that's absolutely good.
Yeah. So how do we close this out on a positive note?
When you look at your title, look at it from the donor's point of view and do a check.
Maybe that's the formula, yeah. Let's look at it based on what role you perform, what is the mission of your organization, and what title would provide the most value to the supporter when they don't know what the heck it is that you do.
Yeah, so maybe if it's an environmental organization, environmental funds director, you could incorporate your mission into your title even, if that would make sense.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's helpful to people.
Some food for thought.
At least this way we're sort of picking at the scab in hopes that figure that's a terrible way to say it. We don't want to be picking at the scab.
We're opening the door, improving this
conversation, right? We're opening up the thought process for everybody to noodle. How can we really improve this? Heck, maybe the real answer to this is to ask supporters in a donor survey what title they would prefer the person with whom they want to engage for the purpose of transferring their wealth. Titles.
They suck. Let's make them better.
Let's make them better.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Engagement Fundraising. If you like this show, make sure to review it on iTunes and pass it along to a friend or colleague. If you're curious about what we do, make sure to check out iMarketSmart.com and watch the webinar by Jeff Schreifels by visiting iMarketSmart.com/howtothink. That's www.iMarketSmart.com/howtothink. We'll be back next Thursday for another episode of Engagement Fundraising. Thanks for listening.